Once you can't get a guy that makes your money, you start going for, I can get somebody who looks good. And sex probably going to be great. Guy going to be young. He's going to be a young stallion. But then you think because you have that U.S. education or British education, I know more than you. And almost every time an older woman interacts with a younger man, there is not a lot of respect there. Almost every time. Especially with a lot of, let me just say this, black women in the West. Mm-hmm. Okay, I went to Harvard. I went to Penn State. I went to Howard University. You are a little boy from Tanzania or wherever you're from. Who do you think you are? Now, I mean, in the bedroom, I'm screaming your name. Mm-hmm. But when we're talking outside of that, I run this because you don't know. You're from Dar es Salaam or Arusha. Who are you? And that guy's like, wait a minute. You might have money and you might have everything you got. But here, let me show you how this works.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the Repart Podcast.
Yes, people. Maintain, DJ and producer, living in Kampala now for 5 years, first generation Caribbean.
Okay.
O'Shea Duke Jackson, African-American, Sacramento, California.
That's it?
I'm trying to just get to the point.
We do have our audience in the back. Just let the people know who you are.
Hi, Rachel here. Miss Kuhani Hani, the baddest Mama Jamma.
Okay, Miss Kuhani Hani. So guys, watch this clip with us and react to it with us.
And I'm not putting out, because I don't believe in calling our people out and putting out our dirty laundry, but I will say, because you asked the question, a lot of them expect something that isn't here. And then they wake up to the harsh reality. I've talked to like 7 different people. These are women that came here and married a Tanzanian man or are in a relationship with him, and they're getting beat. They didn't think African men were... They didn't know. They thought that maybe I can come here and control that man, but that's not how it works here. So they get smacked upside their head and they don't deserve to be hit. They don't. But at the same time, they should have known. Because they didn't know, they're disappointed. And a lot of them leave.
Okay, so the gist of it all is that many African American women move to Africa and then get with African men, and these men end up beating them. Mm-hmm. Or they end up mistreating them. Mm-hmm. And then they can't handle that and they end up leaving. Mm-hmm. Guys, what do you think? Don't be shy.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so shout out to Auston Holleman, who hopefully is he's a vlogger from Dallas, Texas. And so he called me, let me know he was on his way to Tanzania. So he's been there. I believe he might be here in the next 1 or 2 weeks, but he was with Mark Meets Africa. If anybody doesn't know, Mark Meets Africa came to Tanzania in like 2020. Remember, like a lot of those African Americans went to Tanzania in 2020 during coronavirus because there was no coronavirus testing. What was the president that died? What was his name? Magufuli.
Yeah, the Tanzanian president.
Yeah, Magufuli. Yeah. Okay, so Magufuli was like, just come to Tanzania. Not saying just come to Tanzania, but Tanzania was open. A lot of African Americans came at that time. And I believe he was one of them. He got there a little bit earlier, but he's still been there. He came at 19. He's still there at 22. Wow. Which is phenomenal. Yeah. Came with a one-way ticket and somehow managed to stay there. If people don't know, like Ghana is the king of the repatriation community. Mm-hmm. Tanzania is number 2. Oh. Yeah, Tanzania is number 2. And then like Gambia, Rwanda maybe, but Tanzania is number 2. So what happens is a lot of these women, and there's this kind of myth that, you know, men in the West, Black American men, I don't know about Black British, but I'll say about African American men. African American men are not masculine enough. So I need to get an African warrior. You know, that's the kind of thing they've been talking. You know, African men, they will treat their women better than we do as African American men, which it could be true. I don't know if there's a case study out there. It could be true. But what happens is a lot of these African American ladies in Africa, very seldomly will they find some man that can earn the amount of money or give them the lifestyle that they're accustomed to. It's just the way that it is. I believe even the lady that complained about this. What's the lady that's living in South Africa? We had her on the channel before.
Ashley in Africa.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful lady. She says the same thing. When you come across these guys that live in Tanzania, they're already gone. They're already married. So when you want to date some of these guys, for the most part, it's a good possibility that he earns less than you. Mm. So now a lot of ladies are trying to speed it up. You would feel like in America, if I make more than you, then there are certain things I can be able to tell you and you shouldn't be able to do nothing. I can threaten to put you out. And so what happens is that they forget, some of them, I'm not saying all African men do this, but you're not, this is not America. This is Tanzania. This is not, you can call the police, So you talking down to this guy or whatever the case may be, and you're talking back to him like, who are you? You're broke or something like that, whatever happened. And the guy might smack you upside the head. Mm-hmm. Just because you make more than the guy, that don't mean he gonna take certain things.
Yeah.
And you feel like, wait a minute, like, whoa, you gonna hit me? He might hit you again. Mm-hmm. We're not saying that it's right, but this is Tanzania. We're not talking about 911, I'm gonna put you out where you have all the protection behind you. Mm-hmm. You're probably over in Tanzania with not even legally yourself. You're probably doing the 90-day visa, leaving and coming back. So these ladies are finding out, and I've known this, I just never talked about this. I've heard about this also in other countries too, that they're dating these guys that make less than them, so such that they feel that if conflicts happen, I can confront you in a masculine way, and then the guys respond in a different way that they're not going to take that from you.
Did he say he spoke to like 7 people?
Several or seven?
I think it's several people.
Several
people.
Yeah.
I've talked to like 7 different people. These are women that came here and married a Tanzanian man or are in a relationship with him, and they're getting beat.
My concern is generalization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very, very, very unfortunate what has happened with these women and these men. Mm-hmm. I hope something's done about it. But the generalization is what I'm a little bit worried about.
What do you mean by generalization?
Like, I don't, like, he's doing the right thing by speaking on this and bringing it to people's attention. Mm-hmm. But he's got to be careful with his wording. He doesn't generalize all Tanzanian men as women beaters. Mm-hmm. I would like to know more, actually. I would like to know, like, how, not that it matters, but how the physical aspect
comes in.
Comes in. Mm-hmm. Like, what was said to who and how, or
what led to what.
Yeah, what led to what. In no circumstances, no matter how you feel about yourself or who's earning more, who's earning less, do you put your hands on a woman.
No, I get it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's it's just not on. And I don't know. I just hope it's just, isolated incidents.
Yeah.
And not
the norm.
Nothing more. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to say that as a channel, we do not support violence in any form, shape, or in any way. So let's put that out there, because you lots in the comment section will start saying some things. First off, I think what happens is when these African American women come to the continent, they get with the most traditional men. I don't know if that makes sense, because you definitely can find a modern African man and he doesn't think in that way. But I think when they move over to the continent, they want the guy who's like so traditional, the guy who's like African through and through. Is that making sense?
Yes, makes sense.
I feel like they look for like the guy who's wearing the dashiki and with some African face paintings. Like, they look for that type of African man. Right. And then when they get with that type of African man, they find out, hey, this is not what happens in this region. Because when you look back, with the way the traditional African man is that he is the head of the family no matter what. You are not just going to wake up one day and start talking back to the man if he's a traditional African man. It's not allowed. They just can't think of it. We all know someone, she's working, right? So when COVID happened, the husband stopped earning money. So the husband has not been earning, I think, for the past 2 years. She's been providing for that home. But when you see her interact with the husband, she is the most respectful woman. You can't even think she's the one funding that family. You can't think of that. So you see, so that's how most things are. But when I think of African American women being with these men, I think sometimes the power dynamics come in, and then she's thinking, if I make more, then ideally give me some respect. It's like when your mom told you remove that meat from the freezer. She goes home, so she goes to work, she works all day, and then she gets back home and the meat is not out of the freezer. So imagine how she felt when she would tell you that, and then you wouldn't do that. So sometimes I think it happens like that, when she's thinking, if I'm catering for all the bills, if I'm paying for this and that, why are you not doing maybe something? So maybe the man may let her go to work, and then he stays behind to just stay in the house and do something, and then she gets back and then she thinks, let me talk back, and that's where the fights start from. Right. In this side of the world, we see such things happening. We see the fights normally come up like that. So it's really unfortunate that they get to go through that and then they end up leaving. But I feel like when people have the whole concept of, I'm going to marry an African man, at least marry a man who understands your ways too.
Yeah.
Like a modern man in an African man, if that makes sense. Because you can't get a traditional man and then think he's gonna all of a sudden become modern overnight and then change his traditional ways. You understand? Right. I feel like just look for someone who has some aspect of modernity in them. Because if you go for the traditional man, then you have to do the traditional things that he needs you to do. And he's not changing that. That's just that.
For me, I believe if you're going into any relationship, be it Africa with a different, let's say I'm a Ugandan, I'm getting involved with someone from maybe Kenya or Tanzania or Rwanda. That's a whole different cultural background, much as we are all African. So first understand the kind of person you're getting involved with, you know, and then do research or background on how does society, you know, react to some things. Like, we know, this is not even, you know, generalizing, but being an African girl, what I've seen, there are things a man is going to tell you and then you won't even reply back or you won't even go report it somewhere because it's okay. It's normal. Like, everyone is going to be supporting him. So it's better off for you to wait until that person is calm to talk to them about that point. But the whole point is to be for any person who's getting with someone who's different in culture, income, whatever. Like, approach it with respect, approach it with curiosity, you know, and then adjust. Because if you're not willing to adjust to some of the things, you could come as an independent person in that relationship. So if you're not willing to adjust, then you're going to clash on so many things. It could be from his family or her family. It could be from the friends. Or it could be religion. It could be so many things. So from what I've heard from the video and what some of the points you've made and what you was saying, I've heard Tanzanian men, most of them are religious. The highest is Christianity, but also there are also many Muslims there, but they're also traditional people. So from the way they behave, from the way, you know, as men, but also as they expect other people to behave as well, it has to be natural. Yeah, so whoever is getting with them, it's not just Black American women, but also other races. Just be open. You know? Be ready to adjust. Yeah.
Okay, Rachel has taken all my points. Right? So for me, it would just be to back up what Juanita and Rachel have said. Don't come with a mentality, because I feel like most people, when they come from the diaspora, they come with a mentality, I'm going to find a king, I'm going to find a queen, You expect this utopia and fairy tale type of thing, but you forget that these people are still people. They're still human beings. They are ugly inside. They have their days. Mine would just be to say, don't come with the mentality of thinking you're going to find something that is. You might find it. There's people who are lucky and they find really nice people and they find people who support them. But culture is different. Like, not saying anyone should be battered, but in some cultures, like if you cross him, he gets busy. So. Yeah.
Let me just say this. Here's what you're getting with a lot of them, because, you know, like I've been over in the Pan-African space, like I would say 2017, 2018, I started really interacting. And then when I started living in Uganda, 2018, we started Kinganda as a channel. So I started to notice that even the Pan-African Repat community is more dominated by women. And when I talk about women, I mean women who are older. In general. Now, you do have some younger women that are there, but a lot of these women are older. And I'm not saying, when I'm saying older, in relative to maybe the guy they're going to be dealing with. Because again, we have to be honest, most guys who are on that level in Ghana or Uganda or Tanzania, these guys are almost like gods here. I know people don't like me to say that, but it's true. Most guys who are doing very well here don't need anybody as a female from the diaspora. I'm going to say that right away. They don't. Those guys are already married And like if it's Tanzania, they're definitely married. Or they're gone. Side chick positions available only, usually. Okay? So if you don't come to Tanzania with your husband of any race, you're gonna have a hard time. Somebody like if you're a woman, you need to bring your guy here with you. That's the best you're gonna be able to do. No offense to the brothers here, but if you want a man that understands culturally where you're coming from, like why do we have the Repat podcast? Because really, we're not gonna be able to get into the Luganda scene or some of the things. So we have this podcast because it represents our experience here. Yeah. So if you're dating somebody at the same time, somebody who's relative to where you are. Now, it's very indicative of what happened to you in America, and this is also controversial, if you're coming to Africa by yourself as a woman.
Yeah.
That is already letting me know a lot that I need to know about you. This is not being mean, but this is just what I'm saying. If in America, you're not bringing somebody here and you expect to find somebody here, if you think that you didn't have many opportunities in America from those men who are at your earning capacity or more likely, and then you come here to the continent and then you're feeling like, I can find somebody better for me there. It's possible you can. But here's the issue. Once you can't get a guy that makes your money, you start going for, I can get somebody who looks good. And sex probably gonna be great. Guy gonna be young. He's gonna be a young stallion. But then you think because you have that U.S. education or British education, I know more than you. And almost every time an older woman interacts with a younger man, there is not a lot of respect there. Almost every time. Especially with a lot of, let me just say this, black women in the West. Okay, I went to Harvard, I went to Penn State, I went to Howard University. You are a little boy from Tanzania or wherever you're from. Who do you think you are? Now, I mean, in the bedroom, I'm screaming your name. But when we're talking outside of that, I run this because you're from Tanzania.
Yeah.
That's how almost all of Repat ladies I've come across usually have put it across to me that I've interacted with. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm the one that knows what they're doing. You don't know. You're from Dar es Salaam or Arusha. Who are you? And that guy's like, wait a minute. You might have money and you might have everything you got, but here, let me show you how this works. And in America, women are not used to guys being able to do that because in UK, America, you can't even say bad things about gays. Yeah. You can't really talk about women without losing your livelihood. That guy ain't on the internet.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to the police. What are they gonna tell the lady? Go back to your husband, right? Usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your husband? He beating you? Go back to him. Yeah. So you have to also understand that if you're a woman making more than a man and you think that the men in America are not on your level, you're going to come across a country like Tanzania may have 2,000 or 3,000 billionaires. So what do you think you're going to actually get as far as because usually most women respect a man that makes more than them. Usually.
Yeah.
And if you can't, the next best thing is, let me get this young guy that I can that's very attractive. Go look at almost every lady that you see that's older from the diaspora. Look at the guy. Younger guy, buff. Younger guy, tall. But the guy ain't got no money. So then you're going to get in this guy's face, who's a younger guy and tall and masculine and in his prime strength, and you're going to talk down to him. Well, he only got one alternative, maybe that guy feels. And we're not saying that. We're encouraging abuse on either side. But we don't know that corruption is wrong. It goes down here. Killing is wrong. It goes down here. Stealing is wrong. It goes down here. Unfortunately, abusing women is wrong. It happens here. It's going to happen when we leave. It's going to happen while we here. But the thing is, if you're a lady from the diaspora, you need to really watch our episode on that with Nalumu and see how hard it is to date men. If you feel like you're a woman, you're a professional woman, you're at a certain level, how it's going to be harder to find that kind of man here, especially the educational system is different here. And then it's a cultural shock. I also want to say that real quick. When you come to Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, especially Uganda and Tanzania, because Kenya is a little bit more
modern.
Yes, it is more progressive. Tanzania and Uganda is not as progressive culturally for a person in the diaspora as those places. It is more difficult in Uganda and Tanzania. This is where more traditional, especially Tanzania, how you even dress. If you go outside with a miniskirt, it looks bad. That's what they did to tell me. So now if you're picking that place to deal with guys, you got to understand that you're going to be into a culture shock. And that culture shock is going to be taken, and dating somebody that didn't come up like you is very difficult. It's difficult for any American. So
that's true. Yeah. And not to, I know someone might look at this like, oh, you guys are supporting violence or something like that. But we have to tell you as it is. We have to call a spade a spade. And in some parts of the world, a man hitting a woman is not like, it's not much.
It's like water under the bridge.
It's not an outrage.
Yeah, it does happen, and it's very unfortunate. But it does happen in some villages. It does happen. I know of someone who the husband beat her up, and when she went to the police station, the police lady, actually the policewoman, told her, "Why don't you go back and apologize?" It's like, what are you doing, bringing your family problems to us here? You know, and that's like a whole family matters police department in the police station. So there's that. But I feel like you just have, as an African woman, when you come onto the continent, just be careful, because some of these men can pretend for a while, and then you get to see their true colors and see them for who they are. They don't want a woman who talks back. They don't want a woman who, like, you know, I see it in our comment section. I see a lot of people saying, oh, it's because you brought your modern ways to Africa. And I see so many comments like that. Yeah. It's not like you bring your modern ways when you are who you are, in a sense, because if you're from a first class country, so obviously your ways are going to be different from a third world.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, please.
Just one thing before we say this. We love you here at the Repat Podcast. But here's what me and maintain, especially, I'm speaking from joining here. We don't want you calling us with your bullshit. If you come over here, and I'm serious, look at me when I'm talking to you. We don't want you to call us because we have told y'all. Which one? That one? Good. We told y'all. Okay? We have given y'all the unadulterated truth. We don't want you calling us, come get me from the hospital, he or she, or you didn't beat somebody else up. We've already told you how it works. This is the truth. So don't call. You know I'm not going to come. Maybe maintain will help you. But if you call me, I'm not going to come. So don't come over here getting your ass whooped or whooping somebody else's ass, because you need to understand what you're dealing with. You know, we were trying to tell you the truth, how it is.
Yeah.
Respect, right? It needs to be respect on both sides.
Yeah.
Not saying that you should react negatively when you feel like your woman's disrespected you by the way she's spoken to you. Mm-hmm. But there needs to be like respect on both sides, more so on the male side.
Yeah.
Because there is a big physical disparity.
Yes.
And I'm sure like there's a lot of these so-called, as we spoke about earlier, traditional African men, but these traditional men know what's right and what's wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah? They know after they hit a woman and they see the what's happened to the woman after they've hit her, they know what they're seeing is wrong. And in some cases, if that happened to their sister, their daughter, their auntie, their female cousin, they're ready to
somebody.
Yeah, they're ready to pack up, roll out, and kill someone. So some of these men know it's wrong and what they're doing is wrong, and they're just using the excuse of my tradition, sort of thing. It's not like physical abuse on either side. A woman to a man, man to a woman is just wrong. And more respect needs to be shown on either side when dealing with each other in a relationship, in a marriage. You know, it just needs to be.
And can I just say,
respect.
this is my petty side speaking.
Oh,
if that man lifts his
petty
hand
side.
to hit you, please make sure you have evidence. Record. Have something, because when you go to these police stations with nothing, they're going to laugh at you. That's the honest truth. It's very unfortunate, but it happens. Even in the cities, no one is going to help you unless you have evidence. It's your word against his. So make sure you have evidence. Have something that you can use against him if the man has hit you, because like hitting a woman, because when a man hits a woman, that's a whole different. Because like a man's punch is more heavier and it hits more than any other punch you can get. So just make sure you have evidence before you go to a police station. But you can also try your luck and try the police station. Yeah. But also try your luck and date better men. Vet these men. Don't just date men just because you feel like you've come to Africa and you need to find love. No, vet these men. Just, yeah. I'm sure you've seen a red flag. Maybe he has raised his voice at a waitress or something, but you chose to ignore it because, like he says, they are good. You know,
They aesthetically pleasing.
but
Let me just say this. Here's what like the diaspora needs to solve, and I'm not trying to be in some level of tribalism or anything like that. But obviously, with the ladies, for us as men, It's easier for us to come and let's say date somebody that's here. It's still difficult because of the cultural disconnect, but it's easier for a woman to more or less adapt. It is very hard for a man to adapt to a woman's leadership, and which typically that's what happens. Women are going to have a harder time here dating. So now, hopefully at some point, as a diaspora is coming, I think it's better for some of the ladies to try to look at some of the men that are coming that have interest in Africa. Maybe you guys start connecting. I don't know. We might start a Discord or something like that. I mean, again, if it don't work out, don't call me. But I think it's better for you as ladies to, if you're that kind of woman, you're a very driven lady. You want a man that is on that level. You're looking for that. You might want to see if it's a brother in Africa that's living in the States. There's a lot of them. You know what I mean? It's a lot of brothers in Britain. That might be a better look if you're that kind of woman. If you're the kind of woman that's okay with being, certainly like that. But if you're the kind of woman that is, okay, you're going to have a hard time respecting a man that can't provide what you're used to or what you're looking at or the kind of men you saw back in America. That's going to be difficult. That's going to be difficult for you to deal with. So because you're going to be sleeping. You look at this guy, and every day you look at this guy, and he's not what you are. He's not what you think he should be. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start resenting that guy. That 30 minutes or hour of whatever he's doing in the bedroom to you still got the other 23 hours in the day. And you got to look at him every day. It's on you.
Guys, what do you...
It's a pity what happened to those women. Mm-hmm. It always baffles me, like, why adults have to fight each other, especially ones in love. Like, why do you have to beat the other person if you can talk it out or, do something? But for anyone dating out of their culture, even if it's not out of their culture, but especially since we are talking about this, I feel like you have to be actively tolerant and, about the differences, the cultural differences, the socio-economic differences. If you get with this person, just be tolerant and, like I said, approach with curiosity other than expectation. Be nurtured about it, adapt, be real, communicate some things. And then when you see certain things in this person, don't ignore them, because sometimes some people communicate through jokes. You do something, be like, I'll smack the arrogance out of you, like, hey. Then they laugh it off. I was just kidding. No, they're not kidding. One day they're going to do it. And then you look back on that and you're like, oh. And also just be ready. Have an exit plan if things really get that bad. Have people in your circle who know about this relationship and also who are ready to come and help you if you can't access police or, because we've all seen cases where it has gotten worse and people have lost their lives. So talk about it with your friends if it happens and you're not ready to leave immediately. Do your research. Go FBI on these people you're in relationships with. Get to know about their past, dating lives. And also know, do they have any mental health issue? Because sometimes these people are going through episodes. And you say something that triggers them and they'll just go off on you. So, yeah.
I like how Rasha is so positive. She's like, they're going through a lot and they just decided to hit you. But yeah, guys, we're going to close this episode. But what do you think?
No, it's not like I'm saying most of them hit because some, it's how they were brought up. These things were emphasized as they were growing up. So you've had people who are like, he beats me because he loves me. It's wrong, but because they have seen that growing up, it's okay. It's a cycle they have seen. Yeah, so for them, it's very fine. It's all right. But to some, they're just women beaters.
But then there are women who are attracted to men who hit them. So there's that. So we may be here crying on that behalf when they're enjoying the beating.
Get into that.
But yeah, guys, we're going to close this episode. Does anyone have any last words?
My last words would be respect. And secondly, I'd like to do a part 2 of this with more context. Like find out the situations.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach out to Mark Meets Africa. He's just in Tanzania. I'll try to fly him here.
Yeah, oh cool.
And that way we can interview him in person.
Yeah.
And
like a part 2, like
and you can tell us No. I need to see this in person. We need to see Maintain's face like
scrutinizing.
Yeah, trying to understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the back.
At the end of the day, just find out what you're getting yourself into. Same thing Rachel said, because Rachel today is taking
She's taking all your points.
points.
Don't use Rachel.
Yeah. So, find out what you're getting yourself into. It's not always lollipops and rainbows. Sometimes it's rainbows and gunpowder. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, be ready. And also, don't stay with somebody who's beating you. If he slaps you once,
move.
Yes, move. So, yeah, be safe, guys.
Yeah.
Most people don't come to a new country by themselves. So a lot of ladies are coming over to, even for me as a man, it was very difficult for coming to Uganda by myself. But as a man, it's not as hard as it would be for a woman because I don't have certain security things I would have to worry about if I was a lady. Mm-hmm. So now you're coming over to a new country and then you're marrying a man of another nation. And we know we saw Pan-African, but the way that they're going to look at you and the way you might look at him. Mm-hmm. So you're putting yourself under the provision of somebody else and you don't have no community to back you up. Like your brothers and sisters somewhere in Chicago or St. Louis or Oakland. So you just can't call them. You know what I mean? Whereas, let's say, for example, if I'm married to somebody here and I decide I want to get out of line, I run the risk of, retaliation. But let's say if you're in the United States and, something go down, you might call the police, but your family can't help you. You still in the United States, you know what I mean? So you have to understand you're in somebody else's backyard and your people can't help you.
Yeah.
So then that's why it's important to try as much as you can to create the kind of community. The diaspora and communities need to be bigger. They need to be better. And we have to police these things because, we have some of our women coming over here from the African American community. Now, and if that really did happen, I'm just joking around. Let me know. I'll do my best as what I can do to help you. But hopefully you don't come over here and get, you don't end up nobody else up or vice versa. So you need to have people behind you that such that the guy knows if something were to happen like that, he needs to think twice about it. Yeah. You come over here, you're talking about, I'm back in the motherland, I'm back in Africa, but you don't have your people behind you. And when I move here, I have a certain level of infrastructure behind me in Uganda such that, I have some level of how I can do things. Because you can't be here without some level of how you can do things. So think about that. Think about that, you're a lady.
Yeah.
And as a woman, you're submitting yourself to another man of a different country, of a different language that you don't understand. And now he's your protection. And your protection shouldn't be beating you. So you need some protection sometimes against the protection. So that's something you should look at.
Yeah. Well, that's well said. Maintain, where can the people find you?
Yeah, find me at DJ Maintain on all social mediums.
Okay. And O'Shea, don't message him. Yeah. Kuhani?
You can find me on Instagram at Kuhani, on YouTube, Street Kuhani. Yeah. Don't message me.
She's in the streets. Lol. But yeah, guys, if you have any links or stories you'd like to share us, email us at teamkengandanation. What? No. Email us at teamkenganda@gmail.com. Also follow us on all our social media platforms at Kenganda Nation. We do have an event coming up. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, we have an event coming up, partnering with the Nilots Connection.
Yeah.
On May 27th. I believe it's going to be at Casa de Roy in Bugalobi. Yep. DJ Maintain will be DJing.
Yeah.
Part of it, so it's free. You guys can come out. We put the flyer there. It's the Africa Day we're celebrating. So, at first it was the Organization of African Unity, then it became the African Union. So it's 60 years of Africa Day this year, I believe. So it's typically celebrated on May 25th. But because we wanted people to come out and enjoy, we made it May 27th. So it's on a Saturday. Fully sponsored by us. And, we're collaborating with the Nilots Connection as an activator event. So come out, bring the kids.
What? Really?
It's like one of those kind of events.
It's a no kids event.
Yeah,
What kids do you?
You can if you want.
I think you can.
Janita will just stop you at the door.
No.
The kids should be out by 5 p.m.
Yeah. Because we're gonna have mixologists and I will have police officers there. So you can't. They will have bullets, live ones. So don't come with because I'm not playing with y'all. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time. So please come out. It's free to get in, everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Come through for the event. We're gonna put up a poster right here. I think so. Do that. So yeah, guys, don't just come through and interact with us. We'll all be there. Literally, everyone will be there. So yeah, of course.
I might be there.
I will be there.
Wow.
I know I don't go out, but I will be there. Yeah. So yeah, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.
Pan-African dating show.
Yes.
You're kind of late.
Let's not forget PDS.